And welcome back to Empire Total War with the Pirate Uber mod. Last time around we took out the Hanoverians, which took quite something to take them out. It's a huge battle against lots of troops, but eventually we prevailed. And it is now under our control. Since then, I've been preparing against the war against the Danish. Because the original plan was to engage all the allies of the sort of Baltic Alliance when we declared war on Prussia. We assumed that the Danish would go ahead and join in with their allies, and I actually thought the Hanoverians would stay out of the alliance. Instead, Denmark decided to sit it out, and brave Hanover joined the Prussians in the war. And because of that, Denmark now finds herself alone without allies and no one to come to her aid now that we prepare to attack. Now, because there's a lot to deal with here, especially the sheer amount of troops they have stationed around Christiania in Norway, we're gonna hold off on that. What I think for this first video is we're gonna deal with the Danish Navy first and foremost, and then I think that we will go ahead and lay siege to Copenhagen. But I'm not entirely sure. The thing is, the last video went over an hour. I usually have said that I'm like, I should really be aiming for doing videos that are like 30 minutes or so, and then I do one that's like almost 1.5 hour long. It's kind of not going in the right direction that way, and certainly not with me blabbing on about all other stuff here. But so I think we're gonna start off with the Navy stuff. We'll see how much we get done there, and then we'll siege the capital. So what we're gonna have to do is the main navy here is gonna attack the Danish main navy. I've even recruited some fire ships to go ahead and test them out against the Danes. See about destroying some of their ships that way. Then we also have, just outside Madagascar, we have a Danish trade fleet that needs to be taken out. And then also, all the way in the East Indies, we have another fleet that needs to be taken out here. A trade fleet that's holding on. And that's about it for that. Now, I haven't made any preparations of invading Iceland, because I forgot about Iceland. There can't be anything useful on Iceland, can there? So, we're gonna ignore that. And perhaps we'll go there later. In terms of what happens other parts of the empire, not really much. I just noticed now that Genoa holds Tunis all of a sudden. I also noted that I am building out in the Caribbean. We had the strange luck of being sold of Florida, so we hold that. But I also went ahead and conquered Jamaica and Port Royal, because I realized that there were very few troops actually holding Port Royal, very few pirates I should say, and that the port were attacked by the French Navy, so they were blocked in, they had nowhere to go, so I decided to attack. It was actually not the pirates, it was the yellow pirates, so the secondary pirate faction. I had been friendly with them for a long time, and we had traded with them, but since trade was blocked, we weren't really gaining anything from being friendly with them, and if I took it over, now I got in control of their sugar plantations. So that's great, so now we've got sugar coming out of there. Very good. Should probably change the pirate stronghold though. I don't think the pirate stronghold is that useful, so it's better off that we go ahead and tear that down and build colonial buildings instead on Jamaica. The only one of these strongholds that seems any useful is this one right here, where I can actually get pirates recruited. And then the last pirate holdout is here, where I've sent down my Caribbean fleet of Race frigates, which is basically ship of the line, which have taken off like a one deck of them to make them faster, and that basically makes them a upgunned frigate, so high firepower. It looks like the Pope wants this island as well. The Pope is interested in claiming a Caribbean island for himself. He wants sugar for his tea. So that's what's going on. Otherwise, there isn't really much happening in the world. So I think we'll go ahead and start by declaring war on the Danish and start taking out their trade fleets. And then we'll take out the main fleet and we'll go from there. First and foremost, I will cancel my trade. Then my Danish trade was actually very lucrative. I think I made 6,000 or so from that. They have no allies because they abandoned their allies. I'm gonna call on no one. And boom. So now we're gonna take out the Danish. And I think we'll start with the easy naval battle, which is this one down here in the East Indies. Now I think that I have prepared all of this quite well, but there could be upsets because the Danish had a very powerful navy all the way from the start, so there could be ships stationed in corners that I don't see, which the AI might have done. But with this, let's go ahead and have ourselves our first naval battle against the Danish. The first navy didn't put up much of a fight. I think the fleet that I sent to take it out was a little bit overpowered in comparisons. We managed to capture 2 ships. I'm not going to take them on. We're going to sell them instead. And yes, Bob's your uncle. That frees up a portion of the trade here for me to send additional ships. I'm gonna patrol a little bit. We're gonna send over 2 ships there, and hopefully, usually it works out that way that you do make more money if you spread out the ships in multiple nodes. Sometimes they do hide in the corners. If I can get somewhere. They might hide there, but it looks like this one side is clear, and hopefully that side is clear as well then. And then this navy can make its way back to Sweden proper. And then we need to take out this navy. Here they have not really more of a chance, do they? It's just fewer ships on either side. Actually, they do have a bigger chance here. I didn't realize they put second rate ship of the line to protect basically the worst decrepit trade ships ever to be sighted. Could this be a trap, actually, set by the Danes? Besides, of course, that I hold way much more firepower than they do, but I was certainly not expected second rate ship of the lines to stand here against me. Right. It's nothing for it though. Let's bravely go and sink yet another Danish navy. The Danes were able to put out a much better fight for this one. However, there was some coordination problems in between the two great Danish warships, where the admiral was actually leading from the rear, and he got cut off from the second one and wasn't able to aid it as the fight progressed. They did almost sink my second rate, the Queen Ulrike Eleonora, which took the brunt of the fight against the Danish Elephant, and it ended that the my second rate actually surrendered while theirs sank, largely due to the fact that I had 3 of these fourth rates were able to circle the Elephant while they were fighting. He almost actually broke this ship, but these were able to circle and then cut him down, and he sank. And then the Danish admiral was held back by the other 3, which sort of went in and split their force, and they were able to take his sails before he was able to really lay any broadsides onto us. And once the admiral actually got hit by a cannonball, it didn't take long for the ship to surrender. It also at that point did have no sails whatsoever left. I'm thinking here that this was the enemy admiral's ship, and we're going to take it on, because I did note that there is a limit on how many these second rate ship of the line that you can have. So I don't know if I've recruited that many of them though, but I'm hoping. So now I noticed that the Danes had a limit of 6 ships, So I'm hoping that I'm now exceeding the limit by 7 ships, and that would make it easier for me to fight the British Navy once we come to that, where I think we'll have a much greater problem fighting them. We will go ahead and detach 1 ship just to make sure that we hold it. But otherwise, there's no point in moving any more ships towards that. And clearly, there's nothing here. Just to make sure, we'll keep the Navy here. Similar to what we did with the East Indies. Now, we're going to deal with the main Danish Navy. And do they then have the rest of their second... I noticed they had run out of... slots for their second rates, and I can't see any second rates here, so we have to assume that somewhere out there there's 4 more of those second rate ships for the Danish Navy. And yeah, look at that, I now have currently 7 out of 6, so I hold 1 more than I'm actually allowed to hold. What a great day. With that said, let's go ahead and strike then the main Danish Navy, which potentially is not the main Danish Navy, because we're missing 4 really strong ships. Or it could be that when I hovered over it, it showed my limit, which could be one way of doing it, which seems odd. But anyways, we're gonna fight the Danish Navy. We're going to start off by sending in the fire ships and then just go in and hopefully destroy them just as easily as we've done the others. Well, this certainly was not an easy battle. I deployed 11 ships of the line, aided by 4 fire ships, while the Danish deployed 18 ships. Not all of them ship of the line, but quite a few. In the end, we ended up losing 10 ships, while the Danes lost 14, whereof which an additional 4 were captured. But that means a whopping 10 ships of mine were sunk, and a lot of those were quite heavy ships. The Admiral in the ship Stockholm managed to survive. We also had Mercurius, which I thought sank, but apparently not. Göta Lejon as well. Sjöman and Karlshamn was the 5 ships that managed to survive. We had quite a few that sank, quite a few large. I know that I had at least 2 other second-rate ship of the line that sank in this battle. I started off really well, having the Danes cornered, but after a while, the fact that the Danes had so many more ships and so many more cannons laying into my bigger ships, they were able to whittle down the what's it called? The hull strength on a number of ships, and they were able to sink quite a few of them. And the way that it happened is that like 3 ships sunk almost within seconds of each other, and then an additional like 5 sunk rapidly after that as well. My fire ships didn't work out that well. Only one of them really successfully blew up an enemy ship. All the others, 2 of them exploded prematurely. Another one fizzled out. I think eventually it exploded as it was sinking. And then one managed to take out one of the old style flute ships. What did we actually capture? I don't think it's anything good though. It's a 4th rate. It's a flute. Norwegian Love? No, I don't want that one. Is it really Norske Love? I think that is probably something else. Anyways. Another 4th rate and a 6th rate. Dr. Caroline Mathilde? What the crap kind of names are they coming up with? And these were the ones that survived? Imagine the names on the ones that sunk. Right, so clearly my advantage that I had 7 second-rate ship of the line. Oh, now we're down to 6. So I had 1 other, and that one sunk. Great. I had an advantage for 1 battle, and then it dissipated. Right. But at least we won the battle, and make sure that the Danes will not be able to stop me crossing over to the capital. But it stings quite a bit to lose that many ships in that fight. I will be re-recruiting a lot of these ships. It's mainly these ones, these 2 big ones that sank. And then I guess we didn't have that many second rate in this. It mostly was 3rd rate. What I should have done is I probably should have had where is the navy? Perhaps this navy? Or this one? That should have gone in against the Danes, or maybe I should have pooled more of the bigger ships together in one fleet to fight the Danes off the coast here. Anyways, I think we'll go ahead and lay siege here to the Danish capital. They have 5,000 men inside the fort. We have 6,000 outside. I wonder if I can draw upon... Can I draw Grenadiers all the way from the capital? I can draw these 4 units, I think. That were units that were replaced out of this army. Because I placed in the Life Regiment of the Queen into this to make it easier to fight. Yes, now we gain some additional troops here to attack the Danish capital. And here we are for the siege. We're joining pretty late in the siege. I have been trying to get it to stop stuttering. I don't know what it is. It's some unit somewhere that is doing something that is getting the units to stutter like this. And I was hoping that I'd be able to fix it, but I have yet to be able to fix it, unfortunately. So I was hoping I'd be able to play without bloody stutter, but it seems as though there's no way of avoiding it. It has gone, though, pretty much like any siege. I have surrounded the fort on all sides. As I started breaking walls, the enemy moved off them. And as I got closer, they sent out cavalry. The cavalry didn't really go anywhere because I had my prepared lines for them to ride into, and they got shot to pieces. And then slowly but surely we've made our way closer and closer to the enemy. And now we can see here we've got 3 units of grenadier that have made it into the fort and are now going to specifically attack some infantry units here and try and blow them up using the hand grenades. But with the stutter, everything just looks awful. This one's not gonna work out if that melee continues. I've got the 65th Regiment coming in that can take over, and I'm gonna order the 16th Grenadier to... Oh shit, they threw while in melee. That was crazy. I didn't realize those grenadiers was that crazy. What the crap, you guys? Why did these grenadiers threw on these rather than on this unit, which I was hoping they would throw? Also, wait. It seems like it's only the 3 first lines that are throwing grenades. So deploy everyone, and hopefully we'll get everyone to throw grenades. Wonderful. I mean, if it keeps stuttering like this, there's kinda no point in trying to do a... I'll see about ordering the Grenadier Regiment to retreat towards the house. I have managed to get 2 units up on the wall. So we'll try and use that to take control here and get inside. Probably need to focus more troops here if I want to try and break through. This unit's getting absolutely destroyed, and in the process I'm also destroying the wall. And now the melee starts up there. I was hoping I'd break this wall right here, but that looks not like that's gonna happen. The regiment of line forced to pull back, but it saved the grenadiers, which have now taken up position within the house. And now we've got the 51st Kalmar Regiment. I don't know why they haven't been able to claim the wall here. They're the only ones on the wall. But looks like we're winning here, so we might be able to claim this wall and then get through. I think I'm gonna order the cannons to hold fire at this point. We should probably order more units in through this way. And we have one Danish unit coming back. I'll detach the 92nd Regiment of Foot to go ahead and deal with them. And then these guys have set up on the wall and are now firing down upon the enemy. Oh no, my the Kalmar regiment was actually broken somehow. Don't know how that happened. I had the clear advantage and it was only 50 men left in the enemy force. So I don't know how that happened. There's literally no Danish enemies left anywhere. I don't know what Danish unit it is that is causing the stutter. Ah, now we've claimed the wall here, which means that these two can now get through. Perhaps it is the artillery that is causing all of this. Here comes another set of grenades. And once those goes off, we will order in a bayonet charge and clear this out. But the thing is, because of the stutter, it completely ruins the sort of the replay that I usually do of these battles. There's 200 men retreating from about 58. I'm so surprised that the battle is still stuttering. Like, what unit is it that's causing all of this? It makes no sense. Right, so the largest of these units is this one of 219 men, and that one is the one that will take the center here in the courtyard and fire at the enemy. Then we have another one at 180, and that one will take that position. And then 118 will storm the building. Haven't you guys made it through yet? Someone opened the gate for them. It is ours after all, at this point. I'm surprised we haven't... how come we haven't been able to claim this? Oh yeah, now I remember. Because of this. Right, let's... they're not gonna be able to take part in the thing, but they can claim the wall and kill the guys on top of it. And the Grenadiers should do their utmost, killing all of those. And now we've started opening fire into the back of the remaining Danish infantry. We're firing at them from all sides. They're cornered into one corner of the fort. And finally, these units are coming through. We'll see about setting that one up there. There's 80 men here fighting 2 Danes. And they're wavering. And they're not even fighting them because the Danes are just standing there. I think it might be hard to hit them the way they're standing with the cannon, so we're gonna throw grenades at them, which is a little bit overkill because they're now running away. And we just killed some of our own. Oh shit, we threw grenades all the way over here. Oh, the Danes have given up. The capital is ours. But I think that, unfortunately, because it stutters this badly, there's not going to be a post-battle view of this. Because even now, it stutters. Which I have no idea why. All the Danish troops, I was about to say all the Danish troops have surrendered. They have not. This unit is back. And somehow it managed to break the 9th second. However, I have now claimed the inner courtyard. So even though the Danes have rallied 122 men here, I will claim victory. And here's the result of the battle. We deployed 8,000 men against about 6,000 defenders. All of the defenders perished, while we lost 2,300 men. Enlisted regiment killed the most at close to 500, followed by a grenadier regiment. I'm pretty sure we know which one that is. That was the one there all the way to the last. And so on. Household cavalry killing so and so forth. Wonderful. And that means the Danish capital has fallen under my control, which is wonderful. And we're gonna end it there. I think the video is probably not as long as the last one, but it's still a pretty long one. For the next one, we're gonna attack here, where there's just so many Danes. So I think we'll have to turn off the time limit on the battle when I do that one. And then once that's done, the Danes are basically done. It would be Iceland then, would be the last, and then we'll go after the British. And once that is done, it's all ogre, as they say. And yes, with that said, you know what? I will say what I always say. Hopefully you guys enjoy this, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.